welcome back to my channel. What am I doing today? Today I will be looking at Winsor and Newton's paints. Now for my birthday haul, I recently got some Winsor and Newton Cotmans. Here they are. 3 colors. I have lemon yellow hue, cadmium red hue, ultramarine as my for Cotmans, and I got some Winsor and Newton paints. I have a quinacridone magenta, a phthalo turquoise, and take a picture of that, yellow titanate, yellow titanate. You see that color? Remember that color because we're going to come back to this. Yeah, I got these 6 paints here in my birthday haul, and these are all Winsor and Newton. But you know what? So are these. Now these are not all the paints I have. It's actually here, right here, because this is a big palette. And so, but these are the colors that I'll be looking at today, and these are actually from Winsor and Newton China. Now this was some of the first watercolor paints that I ever owned, and I thought that these were a very good representation of Winsor and Newton. It's from Winsor and Newton China, basically, and it's fine watercolor paints, Chinese writing. It has the pigment name. The pigment codes are to the back with its transparency, and it also has its star rating. So, you know, and I contacted Winsor and Newton Company. This would have been 3 years ago. I contacted them asking them if these paints here, Winsor and Newton China, is endorsed by them, because they don't look like these ones. These are the Winsor and Newton professional brands, and they didn't look like the Cotman ones. So where did these came from? And in that email, the rep told me that these paints are manufactured in China for the Chinese market. Look at that beautiful glare. In China for the Chinese market. And they're not necessarily supposed to be on this side of the world. They're only supposed to be exclusively for the Chinese market. But I managed to get my hands on a set, and these were some of the first watercolor paints that I literally got and fell in love with. I think they only come in a max color of 24, and these are the 24 colors that are here. You notice they're very much still wet, thanks to my Belizean climate. Yeah, these are very much still wet thanks to my Belizean climate. And they don't perform like normal Winsor and Newtons. Okay, so as for the Winsor and Newton Cotmans and professionals, I have them here. The full pans are Winsor and Newton Cotman, while the half pans are Winsor and Newton professionals. And these are the colors of how they swatched out. And again, that is yellow titanate, a PBR 24. Please remember that. I have the quinacridone magenta, which is PR 122. The phthalo turquoise, which is PB 16. Surely fall in love with that color. The lemon yellow hue, which is PY 175. The cadmium red hue, which is PR 149, and the ultramarine, PBR 29. Interestingly enough, the Winsor and Newton China, at least at the time I had it, max color was 24. And none of these colors here are representative on the Winsor and Newton color chart. And I can say that claim except for one color. One color, well, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. 6, 7, 7, 8. 8 colors are representing here. And the reason I'm saying that is because I also got this. Let me pull you guys out a bit. Yeah. This is the Winsor and Newton dot card, which is supposed to have their entire color range. And that's, I'm like, yeah, see, I have this has PG7. I remember I wrote that somewhere. PG7. It has but here it calls it Winsor green. Here PG7 is called Veridon. It has the PBR7s. I wrote that here, which is the umber, the raw umber, and it does have raw umber here. It has, which color I have? Cobalt blue. Cobalt blue. PB28, where are you? Here. PB28 here, and it has cobalt blue here. I don't see any phthalo blue, but it has this one here, PV15, but I don't see any phthalo blue. Interesting. I do see a manganese hue, which is the PB15, but here the PB15 is not here. I'm looking here. Manganese blue, PB15, but on the Winsor and Newton China, the PB15 is actually phthalo blue. It has ultramarine, 2 different shades of ultramarine, French ultramarine and ultramarine green shade. Sap green, is the sap green the same? I'm actually just finished finding the pigment numbers for these, and now I'm cross-checking them with these to see if they're the same, and they're not the same. The sap green mixture in the Winsor and Newton China, let me bring you guys in a bit closer to show what I'm looking at. I'm looking at sap green, this color. I don't want to touch it. Let's use my pointer. This color here, sap green. The sap green mixture here is PY10 and PG36 versus the Chinese version, which is PG7 here and a PY83. So it's kind of cute that not all the colors that are representative here are represented on this dot card that I have. Because I didn't want to go back and buy these colors just to color match them. So I just got a dot card. Okay, so what I did is I ruled my book up. And I want to do some color comparisons with the Winsor and Newton China, with Winsor and Newton Cotman, with Winsor and Newton Professionals. Basically, long intro just to get to this, because I want to see if the colors that are representative in the Winsor and Newton China is the same as the Winsor and Newton Cotman or the same as the Winsor and Newton Professionals. What I found when I did this was that in Winsor and Newton China, they have a lemon yellow. The yellow I have for Cotman is lemon yellow hue, and that is a PY75 versus China, which is PY3, which is basically Hansa yellow. But there is no Hansa yellow in the Winsor and Newton Professional line. And I can say that with 50% certainty because in the Professional line, they have these colors called cadmium-free colors. However, there is no pigment code given for these cadmium-free colors. Right there, see there, cadmium-free. And I was looking for them. I looked at Handprint, I looked at the Watercolor website, I looked on Winsor and Newton website. I couldn't find any pigment colors for their cadmium-free colors. So I'm going to cross match their PY75 here which is their cadmium free hue in Cotman range, with their Winsor yellow, which is the same PY75, with their cadmium free lemon yellow, with their cadmium yellow, which is PY35. They do have a medium yellow in the Winsor and Newton Chinese version, but that is PY74, not 175. And then we're going to look at the reds. In the Chinese version, they have brilliant red, which is PR122. No, 112, sorry. PR120, PR12. They have this color, I believe this color is Rose Madder. I didn't write it, but I wrote the pigment code for it, which is this color here, which is PR146, and their magenta is actually PR32. I do have a magenta in Winsor and Newton, but I have their quinacridone magenta in their professional line. I don't have it in the Cotman line, and their magenta is PR122. In the Cotman, I have the cadmium red hue, which is the PR149. I'm going to cross match that with their cadmium free red, their scarlet lake, which is PR188, and their cadmium red, which is PR108. And then I'm just going to check the ultramarines, which are all PB29. So the ultramarines will be a fair comparison because of the same pigment across the three lines. Okay, so the reason why I ask you guys to keep your eyes on this tube here, and thankfully I got them in tube, so I actually have my yellow Titanate to show you that yes, this is a Winsor and Newton color. I have yellow Titanate. It is PBR24. I'm not sure if you guys can see that there. PBR24. It's a Winsor and Newton color. It is very transparent. It is very opaque. Let's see if I can bring you in a bit closer. Yeah, PBR24. It says light fastness there. 1. There's a 1 next to it. And this is Winsor and Newton line. Yellow Titanate. However, when I was doing this dot card, the only PBR24s that were on this dot card were these two colors, which is Naples Yellow, which is PBR24 and PY6, and Naples Yellow Deep, which is PBR24. There is no yellow Titanate on this dot card. And this dot card is supposed to show all the colors on the Winsor and Newton line. Literally all of them. And none of these are yellow Titanate. So I'm not sure if this is a color they have discontinued, or this is a very new color that they're coming out with. Let me see if I could find a copyright insignia on this tubing to see if it's a color that they will no longer be producing. If it's an old tube and they're no longer going to have this particular color, they will still be using the pigment, but they will not be using this particular name anymore. I'm thinking this is an old color and they have discontinued the use of this name, yellow Titanate. I'm feeling like that's the situation, because I remember reading something that they will no longer be on the website that I bought this from, which was Dick Blick. They said that they will no longer be selling this color, this name. And I said, well, I got it anyway. So yeah, Winsor and Newton no longer will be selling yellow Titanate. But it's only Dick Blick saying that. I was on Jackson, but let me check. Yeah, guys, I am on Jackson's website as well, and they don't have yellow titanate either on their website for sale from Winsor and Newton. And Winsor and Newton doesn't have this color on their um website either, because when I was doing this, because the dot cards come with the color names, it comes with their color name. It doesn't come with their light fastness. No, it doesn't come with their light fastness. It comes with their granulation, it comes with their series, and it comes with their transparency or opacity, but it doesn't have their pigment information. And I had to do research to find the pigment information for them. And yellow titanate was not a color that was there, but it's a tube that is here. So I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking they're no longer selling this color. I found nickel titanate, which is here. That's nickel titanate right there, but not yellow titanate. As you can notice, it's a different pigment than the yellow titanate, than that PBR 24. So I don't think they sell this color anymore, guys. They do sell the pigment. They still do sell the nickel, the Naples yellow, but they don't sell it as yellow titanate anymore. So I think this is a rare color, guys. And even so, the tubing is different than the other tubings here, because you notice his tubing is all, all aluminum coating, while these ones have like little color indicated on it. So, and he just have a little thing there. So yeah, I think this is a rare color name, guys, that I have here, or an ancient color names. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I have a okay. Anyway, let me stop my blabbering and get to the swatching. Okay, guys. So sorry. I just kind of got used to working on an easel. Now, I haven't pre-wet any of these paints, so I will not be pre-wetting any of these paints. I'll be going in with them with just a wet brush, and then we'll be hitting these colors. This is kind of a quick swatch, so I'm not going to fast track it. So let's see what these are made of. I'm first going to swatch the Winsor and Newton colors. This is lemon yellow. Let me get my color chart here. Yeah, lemon yellow, okay, yeah, the brush I'm using is a brush I bought locally from Belize. It's the Milan size 14 from their 311 series. The other color I'm going to be swatching here is mid. It's called medium yellow, again from Winsor and Newton China, and if you notice, it's PY74. These paints are a little gloopy. I noticed these paints are very gloopy, but they're also very transparent. So okay, I'm just gonna add some clean water underneath that to see how it runs. See if it's gonna expand. And then I'm gonna swatch, the only Cotman paint that I have here, which is yellow, which is the cadmium free or cadmium lemon hue, which is PY 175. And this is actually very hard paint. I'm actually trying to re-wet these. It takes a while to be reactivated. It's not like the Winsor and Newton China. Those has been placed in that palette there for almost a year and they're still wet. But these ones are already dry already. Let me put some water in it, see if it's gonna explode on me. I have this easel propped up at it's propped up really high. I would probably say at an 80-degree angle. The other color I'm gonna try is from the dot cards, these ones. And I'm gonna take off some pigment from Winsor Yellow, and that is the PY 175. Take a little bit of pigment off, and let's see how this looks. Same pigment, just a different company. Let's put some clean water under that. Yeah, these spread nicely. The next color I'm going to go at is the Cadmium Lemon, which is the PY 35. Cadmium Lemon, it is. You have to excuse me, guys. Oh gosh. Okay, let's move you out of the way because it's a sharpener I had in my way. Let's get a little bit of pigment here, and this one is Cadmium Lemon, sorry. If you notice, the Winsor paint spread much better than the others. And now let's do the cadmium free lemon, which does not have a pigment number to it. The next color I'm going to try is Brilliant Red. Be careful because it's so gloopy. See, I actually have paint on my brush. Brilliant Red. I'm going to put some clean water under that to see how it spreads. And it seems to spread a bit better than the other ones. Now we're gonna try PR32. The PR32 is actually magenta. And the next color is the Rose Madder. PR32, which is here, magenta. So gloopy. This is the Winsor and Newton China. That's the one thing I'm noticing about these paints versus the Cotman and the professionals, that these Winsor and Newton China's paints are very gloopy. Kind of like gouache, but harder, more softer, I'm sorry, because it's gloopy. So yeah. So maybe I've been using these paints wrong, guys. Because I've been using them like traditional watercolors, but I don't think they are. The other color I'm going to use is the Rose Madder. Again, very gloopy. And actually, you know, have to be careful. See, I feel like I'm bringing up paint, so I'm actually very careful when I'm putting this on, because it's so gloopy. Oh, the glare is right there. And let me see if I could kind of contrast that glare. To contrast this glare here. See if it's gonna spread. The glare is on. Yeah. But it's so gloopy. That's the Winsor and Newton China. And now we're gonna go into the only Cotman red that I have, which is the cadmium free, or the cadmium red hue, which is PR149. And the cadmium red hue is very nice. The reason I chose cadmium red hue and not a color that's representative in the Winsor and Newton China, because I wanted a very warm red. Because if you notice, the Winsor and Newton is in a separate palette. So I wanted a warm and cool red, so I chose cadmium red hue and a magenta. Oh, this is nice. This spreads very nicely. And that color is really gloopy. And then we're going to go onto the dot card and use the Winsor and Newton cadmium free red, which does not have a pigment code. So please don't come at me. I looked for it. Oh, and I searched for it again while you guys were here. So I don't know if it's the same code. And this could be because I'm not picking up enough pigment, because I'm using dot cards rather than using tubes. Sorry guys, I can't buy tubes. I have to be economical. I think I put a little bit too much water on that. Let me see if I could charge it up with a bit more color. Yeah, let me see if I could charge it up with a bit more color here. Yeah. How does that look? Let's do the cadmium red. So I'm going to take this here. I'm going to go to cadmium red. It's right next to it, and I'm looking all over the place. I'm gonna charge it up a bit to see if it's gonna, you know, because I love how these behave. Like I said, I have it on a really deep incline. So if it's gonna spread, it's gonna spread. Let me see if I can charge it up a bit. Just a bit, since this is already wet already. Give her a better mass tone, because I don't think I did a good mass tone with that cadmium yellow. And let's try Scarlet Lake PR188. That brilliant red is no cadmium. It has a color here, vermilion, but none of the vermilion colors here has a cadmium pigment in it, that PR108. So I thought it would probably been the brilliant red, but I was wrong. And these are the three colors here with signal pigments in the Winsor and Newton Chinese line red line. These are the ones with single pigments. The other colors are not single pigment. It has another color here called Crimson Red, but that has in PR170 and PV23, so it's not a single pigment color. So what I did is I picked the single pigment colors and to see if it contrasts these primaries, and it doesn't. Charge it up a bit, put a little bit more pigment in there to see how it's gonna spread. Yeah, I can see why this professional line is really good. And next we're gonna do the ultramarines. Winsor and Newton China only have one color, ultramarine, which is this color here. Again, very gloopy. Yeah, so I put some water under that. See how this looks. I didn't change my incline, guys. I left it at the same incline. And see, pretty steep incline. Like I said, it's almost at a 90 degrees. I would say it's a what, a 40? No. It's not 80. It's more like, call it 50, because it's the last incline is a 45-degree incline. This is the 45-degree incline, and I have it one notch above the 45, so it's actually at a 50 degrees incline. So it's a real, like I said, it's a really high incline, and it's not moving at all. These paints don't move at all. What I'm doing right now is I'm wetting the ultramarine for the Cotman line. Try to get a bit more paint there, and let me put some clean water under that to see if it's gonna move. These Cotman paints move a whole lot better than those Chinese paints. Why I said it was an 80-degree incline, because I have it on a really big backboard, and it kind of looks overwhelming to me. But it's about a 50-degree incline. It's not a. I'm first trying the professional brand from the swatch card. This is the French ultramarine, to see how it looks, and then we're gonna do the ultramarine green shade. Let's put a little bit of water on that. Oh, and I love this brush. Can I say how much I love this brush, guys? I really do love this brush. It's nice and soft. It gives me the softness I want in a watercolor brush. It gives me the size I want in a watercolor brush. And the other color we're going to try is the ultramarine green shade that they have here. Same pigment code, PV29. I should charge it up a bit. Yeah. This one is a bit more hotter than the French ultramarine. Let's see if I could charge that up a bit. And then, oh, and this runs better too. Look at that. This runs better. This separates better than the Cotman line. And the let me see if I could charge it up a bit. We'll get a bit more color in there. Yeah. Let's see if I could get a bit more color in there too. Yeah. You can actually see the difference. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but I definitely see the difference between the ultramarine green shade and the French ultramarine. Okay, so I am finished here, and oh gosh, I love how the Cotman looks. I love how the professional one line look, but I probably might have to pull these paints out more and use them, because I'm now seeing that the way I now use paints, especially watercolor paints, it is not the way these Chinese paints want me to use them. They're very opaque, they're very gloopy. Literally, they're very gloopy. They're still very moist, even though they have been kept in a tin for almost a year unused. They're still moist. Thankfully, none of them have any growth on them. But and the Cotmans, I've used the Cotmans before. I did a painting already with the Cotmans, and I love them. I have yet to use the 3 professional paints that I have. These ones, I haven't used them yet, but I've used the Cotmans before in a painting piece in this book, so I've had experience with that. And I have several other paintings I can use, but definitely I'll have to pull my Winsor and Newton China out more and learn how to use these paints, how they want to be used. Sorry, because I'm discovering here some interesting facts about them. They're opaque, they're gloopy, and they don't move as much as watercolor paints, or at least watercolor paints that I'm more used to. So especially ultramarine, you notice ultramarine just basically stayed put, versus this ultramarine, when it was just a little bit, decided that he wanted to go down more. So yeah, this is going to be a good one. So I'll probably have to leave this palette out so I could work with it some more, because obviously this is going to take a learning curve. And thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey, and as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.